Good evening, everyone. Happy Doom Mod Monday. The best day of the week. My name is Naxius, and I hate myself. We'll see, Jay. I don't know if I'm going to commit to this or not. But as of right now, we're going. So, this is Mortal Coil. And the whole shtick with Mortal Coil. I got myself turned around. Good start. And the whole shtick with Mortal Coil is it's a lot of running. What I'm doing here right now is the map. And I am really paranoid about getting myself turned around. Hey, Loser Corner, it's good to see you. Just continuously going to the right? No, 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 no. You're not always going to the right. Sometimes you're zigzagging. Follow the right wall. I mean, yeah, I guess that is a way to sum it up. We're following the right wall. So, as I understand it, there are 6 towers. And each tower has 2 switches that you need to throw to get access to a key. That's at least how I understand it so far. Now, it took me 15 minutes to throw 1 switch. 1 switch on a tower. So then it'll take me theoretically 15 minutes to get back to go the other direction to get to the other side of the tower. Theoretically speaking. Can't get turned around then. Well, that's my big fear, is getting turned around. Like, I'd eventually know that I was going the wrong direction, but I would obviously be worried how long would it take me to realize I'm going the wrong direction. Especially as it goes like this. Just hug the right wall. Now, it is letting me wall run in, like, every direction. I don't know why it's letting me do that, but it's letting me wall run, which is at least making this go a little bit faster. I'm going to save because I know I'm going the right direction now. But yeah, so there is 12,000 enemies, which does imply there has to be at least one fight somewhere. So I'm assuming it takes, you know, X number of hours to get the keys. And then an X number of hours to get to what I assume is the center. And once I'm in the center, I'm assuming that's where the fight is. That seems like the natural progression of things. Okay, so I can't... Okay, so I can't get over that wall, so I'm guessing I have to... Okay, so I can't wall run here. Now, unfortunately, hugging the right wall will slow me down. So I'm trying to SR 50, but I'm not great at setting up SR 50s yet. There is a UV max speedrun of this level. It's 13 hours. So, you know, maybe with my speedrun strats, I can get it done in 14 hours as opposed to 17. Of course, assuming I don't get myself turned around here. See, I doubt I'll get turned around doing this. I'll know very quickly if I'm going the wrong direction. Because here it's just a zigzag, right? No, my bigger concern is... what if I get to the point where the path actually diverges and I get turned around there? That's where it will suck. Because obviously this thing doesn't allow you to really know if you're going in the right direction. Very well. So, Lizard Corner, it's good to see you. How's things? How does it feel to have now the first week of school pop up and you not having to go? My daughter starts her first day of grade 1 tomorrow. I'm fucking old. I will drop her off and have an existential crisis, I'm sure. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, I have children. They never warn you about the existential crisis you have every time they reach a new age milestone. I doubt it will hurt me as much as when I first took her to her first day of kindergarten, but, you know, I just get absolutely gobsmacked by, because I'm stuck in a routine with the kids, every day feels kind of the same, which means time goes really, really fast. Like, it boggles my mind. How late or how fast this year is gone. Like it's crazy to me how fast the year is gone. Like we're in the Burr months. There's Christmas stuff at Costco. It feels like Christmas was last month, but no, Costco's selling its fucking Christmas decorations now. Next to the Halloween decorations, which should tell you how much capitalism Christmas is all about now. Yeah, I cannot seem to nail this SR50 setup. Okay, that was a bit better. Yep, that's gonna fail. I'm gonna hit the wall. At least I get back to the middle, and the middle looks really pretty. I mean, mean, like, look at that little set piece there. That's a beautiful set piece. But now look at this. It took me 15 minutes about to get to that first spot. I think I'm making pretty good time. I'll probably get to the center in a little less than 15 minutes. Just gotta nail these SR50s a little bit better. This is a good level to practice your SR50s. I wonder how much work went into the UV Max demo for this. Did the runner like have to do a bunch of SR50 practice? Was he like, I'm gonna nail the movement in this level? Because so far, that's all it is. It's movement. So I mean, if there's any map that I'm gonna teach myself SR50, it's gonna be this one. I just need to figure out how to. Yeah, no, this is a pretty good lineup. This should be good. This should be good. Okay, perfect. Okay, I might be farther away from the middle than I thought I was. Okay, so maybe I won't. Maybe it'll take just as long. It might be 15 minutes still. See, I'm assuming there's 6 towers. I'm assuming there's 6 towers. One for each key, because I'm assuming it wants me to get all 6 keys. That would be my guesstimate. Although they may not even be keys. They might be switches. I'm just assuming it's keys. Actually, is there only 4? Okay, so there's only 4. So it's probably not keys. It's probably switches. For some reason, I thought it's kind of hexagonal. I thought maybe there was one at each corner, but which would imply keys. Okay. Okay, so now how do I start going in the other direction? On the other side. Okay, that can't be right. Don't forget the remaining 250 items. Okay, you really want to fuck with me this way now, are you? Hang on. Okay. This is definitely different. Alright, let's start it again. 30-minute mark. 30 minutes even. Let's see how fast I can get to the other side of the tower. Learn to SR50 noob. Okay, Jay, it's very simple. I don't think I'll be getting those items. Carl Jobst recently did a competition, a Doom speedrun competition on his YouTube, where he challenged people to speedrun E1M1, but on like ultra UV max mode. Grace Beal and Renner, yeah, but he included items. So it wasn't just secrets and kills. He wanted everyone to get all the items as well. And what that did do is it made Doom speedrunners have to consider something they never had to consider before. And I think the winner got it in 36 seconds. I think it was 36 seconds. But you can clearly see why nobody likes doing item speed runs. Because, like, the items are always, like, off the side. In corners and shit. So, like, you have to optimize so much more movement. Like, you're already in a game that you have to optimize all of your movement. And then this fucking thing is going to make you optimize it even more, force you to optimize it even more. And E1M1 is luckily very small, so the items aren't, like, all over the fucking place. But, like, you imagine some of the, like, later levels. Can you imagine, like, Doom 2 and some of its open concept levels trying to also get all the items for that? How much that would, like, ruin a person. You did it, but you weren't speedrunning it. You weren't like, oh, I gotta get this as fast as humanly possible. Like I said, it's already hard enough to optimize movement, shooting, ammo, and pathing in Doom when you're just worried about kills, secrets, and ammo. You must hold the world record? Well, as of right now, I don't even think there's a category for it if you look for it on DSDA, so... World record holder, but also you need to make a demo. Or else you technically don't have the world record. Demos are king in the Doom speedrunning world. And you, sir, do not has demo. But I gotta say, the whole thing about having a demo does make me a little irked at times. The way that they have to go about it. Because you know that world record, I don't think you were in stream, Jay, when I told people about this, but that world record I got for the neighbor WAD was actually my second time doing it. Because I had done it once before... And then I had my demo, and I went to, you know, the Doom World forums to make sure I was submitting everything correctly. And And then found out, because I don't keep up with it, the speedrunning community too much, the nitty-gritty of it, that I was running a version of DSDA Doom that they now considered outdated and would not accept demos for. So here I was sitting on the world record and could not submit it. I'm not going to lie, for a little bit I considered not running it again because I was so depressed. Welcome to Cheater Combat. Well, the thing is, I don't even think it had to do with cheating. Necessarily. I think it was just because DSDA was constantly being optimized and improved. They just wanted everything to be on a even playing field. Which, I mean, I guess I understand. It's annoying to try and keep all these, like, slight variances in mind when they're reviewing demos. I mean, especially considering that these people are obviously volunteers. You know, Forrest Shockblast does not need to be verifying people's world record runs, but he does it because he cares. Why are the shelves behind me empty? There's actually a really easy explanation for that. My children... and then that's it. I keep trying to put things on my shelf, and the children keep going down and playing with them. Because now they're an age where I'm not constantly down here supervising them. I let them play down here when I'm, like, making supper and stuff. But that's when they tend to try and poke things on the shelves and stuff. So as of right now, the stuff I had on the shelf is put away because they keep going at them. It's a little much on his part. Well, when you love a community, man. When you love a community and you love a game so much, that's what you do, right? What boggles my mind with something like Forrest Shockblast is how much he can still be involved despite the... Did the person that designed this level love the community? I actually don't know what the purpose of this level is. I do understand, or like it seems like it. It does seem like it from where I stand that every junk food WOD ended with like a troll level. Just a level that was meant to like fuck with people. Because it was either like stupid hard or stupid long. Something along those lines, right? And I guess the map maker was like, well, if we're doing that, I'm going to make my level stupid long. I was about to say, why is there two ways to go? I got time for that. Hug the right wall? Well, now I'm trying to wall run, so I can't always hug the right wall. That's not optimal speed running. Just mean that I took the left path? While technically true, I assumed it was a dead end. I just wanted to verify. Because the impression I'm getting is that this little maze shtick he has going on here is the same on all sides. There's very little, if any, variance. Why is the map creator not in chat? Well, the other thing too is they may not know that I'm, streaming this right now. First off, and second off, we don't know where that map maker is from. He might be like Australian or something. This is not his time zone. He's not fucking with this. Like, do you remember when I was playing Alien Vendetta and the map maker came into my chat for that? I think he was like Polish or something. Some member of the Doom community is probably yelling at me because he's like, he's Swedish or something like that, but... So, he was like staying up late to watch me play, which is why I was like uber grateful that he did that. You're staying up that late just to watch some tiny streamer play his WAD that is numerous years old. And you don't know, he may not actually enjoy watching the suffering. He might look at this and go, what have I wrought? And to spend the rest of his days feeling nothing but utter guilt for the pain they have caused. As if he's McNulty. Okay, I threw the other side, right? Can I see the other side? Okay. Well, now that I've done both sides, what do I do? Do I just... Whoops. Do I just leave it like that? Who says you do anything? Well, that's like what I mean. I don't actually know if I do anything. It's just that, you know. Because it makes it look like there's switches on the higher up floors here. Right? Uh-huh. All right. I have a theory. A game theory, if you will. I have to go to all 6 towers. Or all 4 towers, I should say. And then hit the switches on either side. Which will eventually which will lower those buttons and allow me to go up a floor. Because those buttons are right in the way of the elevators. Forcing me to run back and forth through this maze in a loop. One, two, 3 times? Yeah. So, you know, one hour per... This is a day-long stream? Well, that is the point, isn't it? It is, in fact, a day-long stream. Well, I was wondering, like, how was the map 17 hours? That's what I wasn't understanding. I was like, how is it 17 hours? If I'm going 15, if it takes 15 minutes thereabouts to get to a tower and back, and then 15 minutes to get to the other side of the tower and back, so 30, you know, so an hour per tower, but there's only 4 towers. So what the shit happens in the rest of the map that makes it take 10 hours? But that makes more sense now, because if there's about 4 floors, I mean, I have to do each tower 4 times. You know? 4 times 4 is 16. Now, I know that's not quite exactly how long it might take, because it is, if it does work the way that I think it does. If it takes how long, if it works the way I think it does, then when I get to the last switch on the final tower for a floor, it'll get out of the way immediately, allowing me to hit the next switch on that tower without having to run back through the maze. So it might be like 16 hours minus an hour, so maybe closer to 15. And then whatever the hell the actual fight is. How other people watch you do this? This is suffering for no reason otherwise. Well, if I do manage to do it, if I go to Lucky Eddie's Discord and there is video proof of me having done it, I get a fancy flare in his Discord. I'll be somebody who did Mortal Coil legit with no cheats. They put respect on my name. I'd say more than anything else, this is going to kill my wrist. I'm going to give myself major carpal tunnel doing this. Well, Jay, isn't gaming really just a series of suffering for no reason? You know? When people played Dark Souls for the first time, was there a need for a game to be that hard? Like, honestly? Was there a need for that? hopefully it's at least fun. How do you know this isn't fun? This is like going on a road trip, you know? Dark Souls is actually easy, though. You only think it's hard at the time. Well, I bet it was pretty hard for the people who first played it when it first came out. Because it had been a long time since anyone had played anything with that level of difficulty. They pussified video games quite a bit in between the NES and Dark Souls days. So these poor youngins came in trying to play Dark Souls and were like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is this?" But no, this could be like, you know, this is like a road trip, you know? You're driving your car in a zigzag, chatting with the passengers. If I had the time and the wherewithal beforehand, maybe I would have put on a playlist. You know, something to help pass the time. But I mean, I just did my first road trip as part of the trip back home. I drove to Halifax. I'd never driven the car to Halifax before. I had never driven a car for longer than a 30-minute interval. And then I drove for hours. With only a brief break at the toll booth. Because there was rest stops there. I had to ensure that the children did not urinate in the car. And surprisingly, it didn't actually bother me that much. I thought I was going to be bored out of my mind. And, I mean, the concentrating on the road as you're driving, I think keeps it pretty, you know, kept me pretty into it, you know? Sure, I felt the length of time that it was taking, but it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. What are you laughing about? The fact that I'd never done a road trip before? and then did that measure of a road trip? Sure? That doesn't sound like... Nah, that sounds like you're lying to me. Whoops. Lost my grip. Don't get stuck on shit. We're trying to make good time here. I mean, the music here doesn't completely suck. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel about it after 16 hours, but the music here doesn't completely suck. But I actually venture to guess, Jay, you're like, how would people watch you do this? I don't think anybody's showing up to this stream. Bitefire typically doesn't miss a single Doom stream, not just mine, but any Doom stream. I think Bitefire just is in everybody's Doom stream. And he's not here. So I think they might have just been like, I'm not doing this. Quite the always edged sword. Did you mean double it? I don't think I've ever heard of always edged. See, I'd also do. I'd even say do an AMA, but there's nobody here but you, and I think you already know everything about me that matters. So, what would you do ask me as part of an AMA, right? Whoop. As my fingers get tired, I will probably be fat fingering, as just happened there. I didn't hear anything wake up. How many dicks for $1 million? I'm confused by the question. How many dicks would I be willing to do stuff with for $1 million? What am I doing with the dicks? The question seems open-ended and... 100 dicks, but what am I doing with the dicks? Am I sucking 100 dicks? Getting my pipe laid by 100 dicks? Do I have to wait for them to finish? Would I suck 100 dicks in? I mean... For $1 million? Do completion. For $1 million? Oh man, that's a tempting offer. Oh no, I feel like I would have to like suck one first to get a feel for how it feels, you know? And if I was able to do that one and it wasn't so bad, then I would probably make the final decision. I feel like I'd have to do one free one. There's an obvious OnlyFans joke here as well. How much did that woman get paid for what she did? Did she pay? I don't actually know the full story of that. I just know that she allowed 100 dicks. I have no idea if there was a charge or how much the charge is, but hey. If she can do it, maybe I can do it too. Ah, fuck. See, I probably took the longer route, too, because I just really wanted to do the other side of that tower. Because I thought that would allow me to get to finish that tower instead of just going around the circle in one go. I mean, I'll get back there eventually, but I just feel like I definitely wasted some time. But we're doing okay. We're doing okay. But at the same time, Jay, how did I know your question was going to involve dicks? Probably should have known that going into it. Definitely should have. You don't ask Holly these questions, right? Hey, honey, I have a conundrum for you. But I feel like the question doesn't even matter any. But like, what I do? This is zero dicks. That would be her answer. Well, why should she get $1 million if she's gonna do 0 dicks? Or is she saying that she would just not accept the $1 million? Or does she just think she should just get $1 million without having to put the work in? Yeah, yes to all my answers. So, Jay, how have you been finding Dune so far? Is it everything so far that you were hoping it was going to be? It's decent. I wish we could go longer than 2 hours. Yeah, me too. But it was the same thing when we played World of Warcraft. I only really got 2 hours. I feel, well, we aren't progressing. Well, that's partially your OCD. We don't have to find those camps. Like, sure, it gives us experience, but, like, Jesus Christ, they're pointless. How dare I? Because, like, the thing to keep in mind is we're in the East Vermilius Basin, I think. Basin? Yeah, we're in the West Vermilion Basin. Or East, sorry. We're in the East Vermilion Basin. Technically, there's a West Vermilion Basin. Which we would assume, under the assumption, we would eventually do as well. Now, chronologically, it would be the next zone. But for shits and giggles, I checked. The carbon ore that we need to make... the carbon ore that we need to make the steel for the next upgrades, there isn't any in the Western Vermilius Gap. So, like, we wouldn't be... If we did it in chronological order, we wouldn't be progressing because we still wouldn't be getting the materials. Alternatively, we could go north into that zone and actually progress our characters. Wait, am I really doing this? Hey, Iodi, how are you doing? I was kind of just trying to see if I could get a handle on this level and what exactly it entails. See, I foolishly believed that I would be done a tower when I went back and did the other side. But nothing happened when I did the other side of the tower. And then by fucking around, I realized that there was an elevator behind the switches. So my assumption is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong now, I have to throw those bottom switches on every tower, and then they lower, allowing me to now go up to the next level on each tower. And once I go back to all 4 towers throwing those switches, I can go up to the next floor. There are 4 towers. Each tower has 2 sides. I think each tower has 4 levels. Yeah, so it takes me about half an hour to go to a 15 minutes to go to a tower and 15 minutes back. So about 30 minutes. Then 30 minutes to go to the other side of the tower. So each tower is about an hour of my life. Which means 4 times 4 is in fact 16. Which then does confuse the ever-loving fuck out of me how the UV max for this is 13 hours. How were they doing this any faster? A lot of SR50? Well, I thought I was doing a lot of SR50, but apparently not enough. I did find that up on these upper levels, I can wall run, so that's helping. No, I'm SR50, and when I'm in the when I'm down below in the zigzag, I'm SR15. Right now, yes, I am 40, but I'm also wall running, so, I mean, I'm saving a bit of time either way. Because for some reason it seems to be letting me wall run in every direction. Not just your typical north-south, you know, going north and going east. Am I using the Alt key? Okay. Is your Alt key your strafe button? Because I have my strafe button set to my right click. So when I'm SR15, I am... Yeah, so when I'm SR15, as I understand it, I'm holding like W and A to go diagonal. And then I hit the strafe button while also holding E, which is the turn key. So I'm holding down 4 buttons at once. Yeah, so I know they're all in the cardinal direction, but I thought the way wall running worked was you were only able to wall run north. And east. But this appears to be letting me wall run in every direction. No, I'm wrong about that. God, I could have swore I watched a YouTube video that said you could only wall run north and east. So why did I think that? Now, doing third to unit-wide glides is different in every direction. How is that different from wall running? Whatever it was that you just said. Now, my problem with my SR-15 is I'm not great at it, so I'm still kind of getting myself caught up on walls and shit periodically. Okay, imagine a 32 unit wide gap between two impossible objects. The player is 32 units wide, but you can't normally just walk through that gap. It takes sub-pixel precision to move through the gap, and the setup to do that is different depending on whether you're facing north. Well, okay, I see. I gotcha. Coding is fun. Hey, why am I getting cheap viewers all of a sudden? I was getting offered the best viewers. Why am I getting offered cheap ones now? Am I not worth it? Do I not suffer enough for people's entertainment? So, Yodi, I understand if you wouldn't want to stick around, but you're free to stick around, chat. I would be doing an impromptu AMA right now if anybody was interested in asking any questions. If you have any questions for me, you can go ahead and ask. And maybe it's only north and east that you can wall run. Yeah, but it's definitely let me wall run in every direction here, which is why I was confused. Because it's like, I don't know if it's just because it's a flat wall and not like a 3D wall that maybe the coding is a little bit different on it. Yeah, that's right, Jay. You banned them for offering me cheap viewers. I only accept the best viewers. They're trying to give me fucking cheap ones. Did I get myself turned around here? I legit can no longer tell if I am going the right direction. Which is, I'm sure, is exactly what they were going for with this. It's impossible to tell if I'm technically getting further away or closer. Because I almost felt like at one point I might have gone the wrong direction because I was trying to wall run. Yep, I did. Fuck. I knew something felt off. Well, luckily I didn't get too far back into the loop before I got turned around, so we're only losing a few minutes. I'm not overtly concerned. It'd be different if I was, like, at the end of the loop then got turned around. That'd be a solid, like, 10-minute time loss. Maybe that Doom Wiki information is vanilla only, because I was definitely able to wall run in other directions than north and west. But you were in DSDA. I thought the whole point of DSDA was it was supposed to, like, more or less perfectly mimic Doom as it was. So if it's possible in DSDA, isn't it supposed to be possible in Doom as well? I'm aware that MBF21 isn't, but I thought like the movement stuff was still supposed to be consistent. You're not enough of an expert? Yeah, neither am I. I mean, I was using GZ Doom for the longest time, despite Bytefire's insistence that I shouldn't be. It was really just because I knew how to use GZ Doom. I was afraid to try a source port I didn't understand. I'm an old fart, you see. And being old means new technology is scary. Got myself a little turned around there again, but I'm pretty sure I'm going the right way. You see now? What do you see? Wall run is reliable on north and east walls. But it can be done on angled walls and south and west walls with different amounts of success. Sometimes it boils down to only a specific line depth and a certain way certain maps can be wall run. I see. Alright, on to the easy part. Buddy Odie, this is a perfect time for us to get to know each other. Tell me all about your Doom history. When did you start playing Doom? When did you understand that Doom was, in fact, the best game ever made? How many years did that take? When did you first foray into map making? First played Doom in December of 1993. Oh, good year. Good year, 1993. It was December 1994. Also a good year. Some might even say a better year. I was not allowed to play Doom at the time. I was only 6. But I would watch my dad play Doom. And then my mother would get upset because of how violent it was and him letting me, a young, impressionable 6-year-old, watching Dad slaughter demons. Which was a big no-no. However, my mother did allow me to watch people play Wolfenstein, where you shoot real people, but I guess that was okay. I think she said Doom looked too realistic. You played a shit ton of Doom when you were deployed to Croatia from September to December. It's always okay to shoot the word that will get censored on YouTube. Now, my mom's excuse is that Wolfenstein was extremely pixelated. So I think her attitude was, it doesn't look at all real. So it's okay. You might say it's a moral imperative, but I also feel like sending Blazkowicz into that place by himself was extremely morally deficient. Because if it wasn't a video game... Because if it wasn't a video game, there's no way that one man is taking down the entirety of Castle Wolfenstein. Saying Blazkowicz by himself was both immoral and, frankly, it was the tail end of the UN mission to the former Yugoslavia right around the time when NATO took over peacekeeping operations. Well, I was going to ask, how did you play a whole bunch of Doom while you were deployed? To be fair, I've never been deployed myself, but it sounds like you would be busy deployed. But if you're saying it was right at the tail end, then perhaps there wasn't a lot of fighting left to do. Or at least that would be my assumption. Your job is to watch dials and readouts in a field mobile power plant. Sounds like a shitty job. I'm assuming given the circumstances, there could be worse jobs to be doing. It was the best time you had? Oh, well, I do hear that. I do hear that. So how long were you in the military for? Four years active duty, 4 years in the National Guard. Give it up for any particular reason? Tired of it? Bored of it? Fucking government's not worth it anymore. Wearing a lifer. So, were you playing Doom while you were supposed to be watching the dials, or... No, don't worry, General, I'm watching the dials. Do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do, do-do, do-do. I went in because I had no idea what to do with myself out of high school. I feel that's what the... Whoops. I feel that's what the general attitude is. My main job was to stay awake and to take readings every hour. Ah, so in between those hours... Time for some monster slaying. I see. I wish I had a Doom that allowed. I wish I had a job that allowed me to play Doom for for hours at a time. Although that being said, in my youth, if I had been given that kind of time, I probably would have been playing World of Warcraft, honestly. What I did in between those hourly checks and the periodic outside checks, it mostly didn't matter what I did so long as I was there, awake, and attentive. Out of the corner of my eye, that last word looked like attractive, and I was like, I'm sorry? I can't just read the dials. I gotta look good doing it. You were very attractive. But was that mandated? Young in shape and tight haircut, I look great. But was it mandated for you to be attractive? Although, actually, it depends on how you want to look at it. There is very strict appearance. There is very strict appearance rules in the military, so perhaps you could say it was your job to look attractive. You see, I was an air cadet for a few years. So I know what it's like to have my appearance judged on a consistent basis. Talk to the army guy. Yeah, army guy, I was an air cadet. Okay, so now I think I have to go back up. There's though if anything went really wrong, there were alarms that would go off. I fucked up and fell down, didn't I? Yeah, I was not supposed to fall. It was just Doom. We read, play chess, listen to music, watch movies on a little TV. I'm sorry, was I also supposed to be throwing these? Oh, I need a yellow card to open that door. I see, I see. Okay, so hang on. So it came up from here. So I should be able to jump down here. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, we had 3 field generators in even time. One would be running with another on standby. And a third in maintenance. They were also smaller backup generators for the hospital as a last resort. Would that still be the case nowadays? This was the hospital everyone in Bosnia would get sent to in order to be stabilized before being sent off to Landstuhl, Germany. So, like, how Well, first answer Jay's question. Is that still... It the Serbs and the Bosnians are on their own. Would that still be the case nowadays with that generator setup and everything? And then my question was going to be, how old were you at the time? You were just out of high school. I'm trying to gauge how much older you are than me. Because I was only 6 at the time, and you were in the military. So even assuming you were 18, you're 12. You're at least 12 years older than me. Which would mean you were pushing 50. You're old. You're old AF. See, that's just rude. Look, how do you think I feel? Okay? You may have already accepted your age. I'm just starting to realize how fucking old I am. I have now gotten to the creaky old age of 37. And as I approach 40, I'm just like, I am in fact dying. My, I don't know if I'm going to have a midlife crisis. I feel like I'm half immune to a midlife crisis, but that could still be a case. Jay, have you had your midlife crisis yet? During my life, almost the entirety of the history of home consoles was your new hot. I was going to make a joke that nowadays it would have a buggy AI program looking after everything, but maybe the military is still funded enough that professional efficiency isn't a worry. Most of the history of video arcades was the same as well. Yeah, my parents grew up in the era of arcade machines. My dad particularly was a fan of Robotron. Apparently, him and Mom dominated the high scores on the Robotron machines at the local bar. So if they say. But I can tell you, if I had the space, I'd totally be one of those fuckers who had like a Pac-Man machine in the house. If I had the money and space for that. I checked out the price of a Dodge Charger, not on the island, so then I checked the cost to have a Charger shipped down. I wasn't in that bad of a crisis, it turned out. Well, a Dodge Charger is your midlife crisis? Not even like a motorcycle? Well, yeah, Yodi's got a point. Aren't like all the nuclear shit still on like 8.5-inch floppies? Yeah, but even if it was like, I'm having a midlife crisis and I want to get a car, it would still be something like I got a Jag or a Porsche, or I try to get like some low-riding convertible or some shit. I just haven't heard of a Dodge Charger being the midlife crisis. I purchased 3 cars while I was in the Army. An 86 DDM Toyota Camry, that was the barrack speeder, a 76 VW Beetle when I got back stateside, and later a 76 VW Carmen Gia. I don't even know what the fuck that last one is. Admittedly, I'm not a car person. I never was. In fact, out of all the male hobbies that, as a gentleman of the male persuasion, was supposed to have, video games is the only one I think that stuck. So sports card look, not sports car fast. That just sounds nice, you know? Actually, the sleek look without all the extra upkeep. But no, I was not a car person. I was not a sports person. Never did drugs. Never been drunk. All of those things. None of it ever appealed to me. The only, like I said, the only male-facing hobby that I ever seemed to catch on to was video games. It's funny that you and I are so different. Well, I've actually said you and I are actually a perfect case study of the opposite effects that growing up poor has. Like, two fucking... There's one of two things that could happen when growing up poor, and one happened to me and the other one happened to you. Which is what I always thought was really funny in retrospect. Part of my childhood was spent very, very poor, but the latter half of it was comfortably middle class. Yes. So, I joked that we were poor. Calling ourselves poor is an insult to people who are actually, like, poor. We were not poor. I'm talking sleeping naked on the floor. And yeah, that's what I said. We weren't poor. We were lower middle class. Yeah, so I joke about saying that we were poor, but we weren't poor. That's an insult to poor people. But we were lower middle class, and we were never, like, I'd say comfortable. We had Nintendo systems, but not a lot of food. Yeah, we were never super comfortable, right? Any sort of, like, cool purchase or anything had to be a carefully calculated and planned thing by my father. Most of your calories were government assistance. Sucks. But yeah, so a little there. Well, that's the other thing too. Is like when you're young, you don't actually know any better. I think once I hit I think it was like grade 4 when I first really started to understand that there was definitely something different going on with my family versus my peers in school. Because while I don't think I went to school with, like, any rich kids, I was definitely going to school where I think a very large bulk of my classmates were middle class, you know, like decently middle class. And it never became more obvious than when there was, like, a trend going on of any sort, right? Like, when Pokemon first came out, I was in grade 11. Or, sorry, not grade 11. I was 11. I was in grade 6. And, now, Yoda, I don't know if you might have been a bit older than the target audience for Pokemon, so I don't know how much you were into it, but you probably know that there was a huge Pokemon craze going on at the time of its release. And I, of course, wanted to play Pokemon, but we had never had a Game Boy in our lives. Okay, I do have to go this way. Well, I think a combination of not having a lot, but also our father's attitude towards everything. Well, again, Dad was very... I have to give Dad credit. He did pretty good with the amount of money he had to ensure that all the essentials were taken care of. But that meant he was overtly against anything that wasn't essential. I only emulated Pokemon Red once just to see what it was about. It was back in 98 or 99. Yeah, so I had never in my life owned a Game Boy when Pokemon came out. And Pokemon came out, and before Christmas that year had even rolled around, it's felt like half the kids in my elementary school had a Game Boy and were playing Pokemon. And like, which flabbergasted me because, of course, video games were more expensive back then than they are now. So we would get like 2 video games a year. My brothers and I would get 2 video games a year. One for our birthday, one for Christmas. Those are the only times we ever received video games. There was a couple of times where we managed to get some used things, and we also got, our grandparents bought us some N64 games when we first got N64. So when Pokemon came out, even if I wanted it, there was an expectation that one of those 2 holidays had to show up first before I could have it. So the fact that all of a sudden there were all these kids rolling around my elementary school, all with Game Boys, all with the Pokemon game, not having to wait for Christmas. Now maybe they all had their birthday at the same time, but the fact that their parents were able to just get them Pokemon immediately told me there's something different about my family. And I think that's what really kind of drives it home, right? Yeah, Tiger Direct, of all the best hardware sites, 1.1 had to offer. It was a magical time if you did the legwork. No algorithms, no shilling, no AI, just enthusiasts. The internet was a magical time, was a magical place back in the day, wasn't it? I'm about to say, I think I turned myself around. I'm trying to wall run a little bit to speed up, but I think I need to fuck off with that. Because that's twice now I've gotten myself turned around. Doing it. Now, Brad, was also Dad's values. Like, fuck Pokemon. Yo-yos were $30, so you wouldn't get us one. Well, because again, the thing was, it wasn't our birthday or Christmas. If it, like, everything, every purchase Dad made had to be something like, it had to be a birthday, it had to be Christmas. How the hell could a yo-yo be $30? Well, you see, there was a trend going on. So then supply and demand and all that. Yeah, there was a time, for some reason, when yo-yos were back in when I was younger. I don't know why yo-yos suddenly came back in, but people were like all of a sudden like dying for yo-yos. Yeah. We weren't as poor as we were presented. Well, no, well, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I said, like, we weren't poor. Right? And especially when Yodi's telling his poor stories, like, we clearly were not poor. We were just, you know. we were lower middle class. But anyway, you were poor, I was in poverty. I guess that's one way to put it. But when you grow up poor, I find from conversations I've had with other people who've grown up poor, and from conversations that I've seen online, if you grow up poor, when you become an adult, one of two things happens. One of two things happen. I'm not saying you invalidate. I'm just saying that's why I don't like calling myself poor. We were never like when there's people in poverty, it feels really disingenuous to call myself poor, right? Not that it invalidated what I went through, but it's just put a better label on it. But anyway, one of two things happens when you grow up poor and you become an adult. You either A, become obsessed with owning things or getting the things that you couldn't have as a child and partaking. So, for example, the example I use with Jay is as soon as Jay got a bit of money, Jay was like collecting. You're feeling attacked? No, well, tell me if this is false. You started collecting those like martial arts movies. What were they? Dragon Dynasty? I can't remember what the label they were. Started with Killzone. Killzone was number 1 in the collection. And Jay just started collecting those DVDs. Like a completely fucking... Hang on. A completely fucking random set of DVDs. What do you think about it? And it wasn't like, oh, I'm collecting, Transformers movies or something that was like mainstream that people had heard of or something. No, it's like I'm collecting Asian martial arts movies. And of course, to someone like my dad would be like, what in the ever-loving fuck are you doing with your money? Spending it on something like that. But that's the person Jay has become. Jay, for example, loves Dune so much that he has purchased basically anything that has the Dune label on it. Poetry books, OSTs, every Dune book. He's had it, he's read it, he's absorbed it. So that's one thing that can happen when you're poor. That's one possible outcome. The second thing that can happen, I have the entire collection of Criterion 4K releases, which you didn't see because you came over to that condo after I flew you down. I'm sorry, Jay. I didn't have time. Even the Mormon Doom books, he has those Mormon Doom books, 100%. Because Jay is not one to half-ass it. If he's going to play Doom, he's going to play Doom. He's going to play every Doom. He fucking tracked down an iPad just so he could play Doom, that Doom RPG that was only released on the fucking iPad. Because Jay's like, if I'm going to play Doom, I'm going to play Doom. All the Dooms. But anyway, the second thing that could happen is you don't care about. It's Doom Resurrection's the rail shooter. Sorry. Oh, Doom RPG has been emulated. Okay. So, the second thing that can happen is you don't care about things. And that's essentially the sort of attitude that I've kind of lived my life with. Like, if there's, like, some cool, geeky decoration or something, never bought it. If there was a, collector's edition of something, never bought it. I very, very, very rarely purchase anything for myself. Pretty much everything that I own is a Christmas gift. Like, that's actually not a lie. Anything that is like mine, with the exception of the essentials, like the house and, you know, furniture of the house and everything like that. Anything that's like legitimately mine, is a gift. I own a brand new kitchen. See, that's the thing. It's like I would in a sense be like, that's something for the house. That's something for the family, right? And that's something I would be okay with. But it's like purchasing like collectibles for myself, absolutely not. Resurrection is exclusively iOS, and apparently they're impossible to emulate. Of course they are. Fucking Apple. So, like, I have never... Like, I don't even, like, buy video games for myself half the time. The only time I ever buy video games is when they are on sale. Steam sales are the only time I purchase video games, basically. I live video gaming 3 years behind the rest of the world. Right? So it's like things like souvenirs. Typically, I don't buy myself any souvenirs if I go to a place. Maybe a fridge magnet so I can show off the places I have been. I don't have a lot of fridge magnets. Right? Car. I would have, like, where Jay is looking at Dodge Chargers, I'd just be like, I don't know. Fucking Yaris. What I have now. Probably just get another Yaris if I needed a new car. P.S. Didn't have time. Bitch, I flew the four of you down. Like, again, I know and appreciate that, but unfortunately, there's two sides of the family that want to be visited. Plus, I want to take the kids places that are fun, which took other time. Because, like, the last half of the week, that was essentially what was going on. We were taking the kids places. Did those people help fly you down? You're making it sound like I didn't see you. I saw you a bunch of times. I just didn't see your house. But yeah, so I essentially don't purchase anything for myself. I don't collect anything. I do not have any sort of desire to buy things for myself. The complete polar opposite of Jay. And that's the thing. It's like I grew up with nothing. So, you know, I shouldn't say nothing. I grew up with very little compared to my peers. And as such, that's just how I felt. I have kept that attitude with me. How's your PC? But that's again, see? But that's the thing. You didn't even buy this for me. But you gave this to me. I wouldn't have bought this on my own. Eventually, yeah, I probably would have needed a new PC. And I probably would have still eventually purchased one, but it wouldn't have been as good as this one. You're lucky you got someone to look out for you. Somebody who didn't have kids, I guess. And didn't have to spend money on them. But it never really bothered me having kids and spending money on them because it's like every year for my birthday and Christmas, my wife is like, can you please give me a list of things that you like so I have some gift ideas? And that puts stress on me because I'm like, but I don't want things. You know what I had to end up asking for my birthday? Fucking kitchen utensils. And she even looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing putting kitchen utensils on your list? And I'm like, listen, I cook, and sometimes I want to be lazy, so get me some of those utilities that let me be lazy. So the Godzilla pinball machine is $10,000 US. I asked for things like high thread count sheets and cotton socks. Yeah, socks. Now, there you go. I do ask for socks. That is a thing that I ask for. And yeah, it was like 2,000. So, Jay, I'm asking you now, are you going to put a pinball in your fucking condo? A pinball machine? Put it in Holly's new office. Welp. It is about that time. I hope you guys enjoyed the chat, because I wouldn't say the gameplay. We'll see. I would almost have to cancel a bunch of Dune streams with Dad and Jason to do this, but we'll see how this goes. These are your socks. Can be dress socks, can be outdoor socks. Perfect. I'm going to look this up because I want to see the price tag on these fucking socks. Okay, and how many socks are in this one? This is a set of... It's 20... Oh, it's 10% off right now. It's usually $27. How many socks are in this one? So, yeah, as of right now, I'll be playing Dune with my brother and my father on Thursday and Friday. If that falls through, maybe I'll do more of this. I'm already 2 hours deep now. Might as well go for another 13 or so. So, thanks everybody who watched, and thanks everybody who participated. Jay, Loser Corner, and Eody, and anybody else who's popped in and out during the stream. I see you. I appreciate you. If you're not already following, consider doing so, and you get to watch some hard-hitting gameplay like this one. But yeah, I'll be back Thursday and Friday with some Dune. And maybe the next 2 months of my life will be just running through this fucking gate. These fences. Alright, everybody. With that, I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Good night. I feel like if I put some like Rocky music behind me, it'll make it feel like I'm running faster, even though I'm definitely not. Maybe I need to like look up a playlist or something of workout songs or something.